Hello. So I saw in the comments, Christy, you were jamming to the music. Rebecca was jamming to the music as well. Hey, everybody, how you doing? I am Walter. Welcome to Where's Walter Travel, our cruise Q&A. And to this episode, we are going to focus in on some Black Friday deals because, my goodness, my emails and the phones are lighting up. What are all these specials? There's so many specials going on. What's the best one? So I just figured, why not? We'll take an episode tonight and we'll talk about special, but we're also going to take your questions, any questions that you have. If you are new to the channel, Where's Walter Travel is primarily about new cruisers and the cruise curious, trying to get you good information so you can make an informed decision as to whether or not a cruise is right for you. And for all my veteran cruisers out there, we try to share as much useful information. And lately, we've been trying to keep you up on some of the specials because especially now, Black Friday is upon us. So everybody and their brother is releasing deals. And, I love cruise lines like Norwegian Cruise Line. They have a deal 50% off each guest. And then the next day, suddenly it's one guest free. And everybody starts calling me going, hey, can we change our booking? Because now a guest is free. And I'm like, one guest free is the same as 50% off each person. And in fact, in the booking engine, that's still what it shows. It shows 50% off each guest. So anyway, well, welcome to the show. How y'all doing? It is, did I check? I don't know. I got 42 days to Christmas. I'm not entirely sure if I updated that. It might be 41 days to Christmas. But wow, we are getting close. Where are we? We're 33 days away from the Symphony of the Seas. We are finally getting close to the cruise. And I connected up with an absolutely wonderful business development manager at Royal Caribbean today. Oh, my goodness gracious. We're going to try and do some special things coming up soon. She's going to try and get me on a few more ships. So I want to start bringing you some more ships soon. But I am so excited. Are you guys excited? I mean, so many sales coming up, right? I should probably just start talking about them, right? Right. And, before I go into this, please consider booking your next cruise with us. We've only been at this for 3 weeks, I realized today, because I had to go back and look at when we first started. I was like, oh my God, it's only been 3 weeks. And I just went and counted. We've got like 22 bookings up on the board already. So thank you so much to all of you who have been reaching out and allowing us to be part of your vacation. And we're putting together 2 vacations right now for Ireland and Scotland. Yes, we do land tours too. So like 2 people both want to go at the exact same time, 2 completely different people. There's something called the Military Tattoo over there where they had this big bagpipe festival. And I got calls from 2 groups of people. So we're putting together, and one of them, the car picks you up at your house here in the US, takes you to the airport, and then all transportation over in Europe. And then they bring you back to your house after the flight back. I was like, I love this. You don't even have to think about anything. So anyway, So we're talking about cruises tonight, but we also do everything else. And of course, join our private Facebook group. Christy is on here right now, and she is one of our moderators. We have a wonderful, wonderful Facebook group over there. And of course, I got to say thank you to Desiree. Desiree, thank you for the super sticker. Very, very kind of you. We greatly appreciate your support of the channel. Thank you so very much. And good evening to everybody else. It's good to see everybody out there. I'll start off by saying, hey, you still got time to get away for the holidays. Thanksgiving is a week away. You still got time. There's still inventory out there. In fact, somebody asked me about the Norwegian Escape. I think it is going out of Port Canaveral. There's still quite a bit of inventory on that ship left, for example. Now, I know the Carnival cruises are really getting filled up, and I think Royal Caribbean is really getting filled up. But there was some pretty decent inventory on the Norwegian Escape, for sure. So still not too late to get away for Thanksgiving. Certainly not too late to get away for Christmas. Holland America has some really good deals going on. Disney actually has some 35% off select sailings, and some of them are the very maritime ones, which our friend Stephanie is on the Disney Fantasy right now. So Stephanie, she is on a very maritime journey right now. We did Halloween, but we haven't done very maritime. So we would love to be on a Disney ship for the maritime. So let's get into some Black Friday and or other cruise stuff. I don't have graphic prepared for all of this, so just take notes. And if you miss something, just ask me to repeat it. And of course, as always, drop questions in the comments. I will be happy to answer any and all comments. And as always, my wife, Rebecca, is sitting right off camera as my right-hand person and my partner in crime in the whole travel industry. So Here we go. So the first thing I've got, actually, this is kind of cool. The Carnival Venezia bookings are now open. That is the first Costa by Carnival. So the ship is going to be basically left as a Costa ship, but it is going to be owned and operated by Carnival. So there will be Carnival crew on board, but she's going to keep the yellow funnel. She's going to keep the yellow stripe. She is going to be repainted with a blue hull, so she'll match up with the other Carnival ships, but she is going to keep all of her Italian stylings, and Carnival is selling this as, you know, Italian flair with Carnival fun kind of a thing. So I'm really excited about this ship. She will be sailing out of New York. I would really love to do that sailing. I have not done a New York sailing yet, but from what I've been told, New York sailaways are just spectacular. I mean, I've watched them on YouTube, right here on YouTube. I've watched them. They're spectacular. So the Carnival Venezia, if you are interested in seeing what Costa is all about, I mean, basically going to be a Costa ship. It will have the Carnival crew and a little bit of Carnival livery, but she's still going to be a Costa ship. I'm very interested to see this. It is essentially a Vista class ship, and but it's done up in their way. So Carnival Venezia bookings are now open as of right now, so certainly reach out if you'd like to. Royal Caribbean has a bunch of things going on. They don't really have Black Friday yet, but they do have a bunch of specials that are going on that are kind of ongoing. One of the things they've got going on is up to $550 off sailing departing December 11th or later. You save 30% off every guest, which I have been seeing continuously for the past 3 weeks. I've been booking a lot of people on Royal Caribbean. That 30% off. That 30% off is basically for a non-refundable deposit. So if you put down a non-refundable deposit, you get 30% off each guest pretty much automatically. And then depending on where you live and some of the other specials that are going on, you might get another $35, $45, $50, $75 on top of that as well. So they've been running that for a while. They do have the kids sale free promotion still going on. You have to book by November 30th. Now keep in mind, when I say you got to book by November 30th, cruise lines are notorious for extending things, but this is what they're telling us right now, that on November 30th, that $550 off sailings departing December 11th or later. Oh, go ahead.
And just be aware, when they say kids sail free, that means kids in the same cabin as you.
Correct.
If you want to put your kids in a different cabin, that's not free.
No, and they have to be 12 and under, and it has to be 3 nights or longer. But yeah, anytime you see kids sail free, that means they're in the cabin with you. And if you're saying, well, of course they're going to be in the cabin with you. No, not necessarily. As the kids get a little bit older, and even like Christy, who's watching right now, they ended up booking 2 cabins so that they would have 2 bathrooms, and they have very young kids, and that worked out.
One
really
adult
well.
in each cabin.
Yeah, one adult in each cabin. So you know, sometimes you do book 2 cabins, especially if they're adjoining, so you just open the door and just go right between them. Yeah, so they're doing 30% off all guests. One of the big things, in fact, this is one of the things that I talked to the business manager about this morning, because I had kind of seen it, but I didn't really look at it. They are offering up to and this is Royal Caribbean again. So Royal Caribbean is offering up to $500 off flights to Europe and to Alaska. Now, you know, going to Alaska, part of the thing that makes people pause is, wow, man, it's kind of an expensive flight to get up to Alaska. But Royal Caribbean is offering up to $500 off. Now, you have to book by November 30th. So if you're going to Alaska or you're going to go to Europe on Royal Caribbean, if you book by November 30th, and then the sailing window is going to be April 1st through October 31st. It's essentially going to be the Alaska sailing window, but you can go to Europe or you can go to Alaska in that window. And what it looks like, so in Europe, if you book business class, you'll get $500 off. If you go economy class, you'll get $200 off. And it's the same thing with Alaska. So if you book business class, you get $500 off. If you go economy class, you get $200 off. Now, you know, the airline is going to take care of the flights, and you don't really have a whole lot of control on the flight. And if you want to make changes to them, then you have to pay a air deviation fee. That's it. And you know, sometimes it's just a little bit, and other times it's a lot. It just depends on the cruise line. A partridge in a pear tree for Royal. You are funny, Christy. I like that. I like that. But yeah, so that's what Royal Caribbean's got going on as of right now. There's nothing really yet for Black Friday. that we have seen yet. But that's Royal Caribbean. So you got 30% off all guests. You got kids sale free. That's through November 30th. And you can get up to $500 off your flights to Alaska or Europe. Again, you have to book by November 30th. In Alaska and Europe, you need to sail between April 1 and October 31st. Pretty good deals going on there. And, you know, as I said in my TikTok recently, there may be other deals behind the scenes that we have access to, that maybe we might be able to make a combination of things, especially when like Georgia, Florida residency comes into play. Sometimes that can help out with the fares as well. So that's one thing that we would always do, just to make sure that you guys are getting the best deal. So if you guys have any questions at all about Royal Caribbean, feel free to drop them in the comments, or if you have questions about anybody. I'm going to get through pretty much all of the cruise lines tonight. So the next one is Celebrity, and Celebrity claims that they're having their biggest Black Friday sale. I think they're all having the biggest Black Friday sale. I mean, come on now. Everybody's having the biggest Black Friday sale. Honestly, Hertogruppen, I think, has the biggest Black Friday sale. We'll get to them soon. I did a TikTok on that today. So the booking window is November 11th through December 1st. So we're in the booking window now. So you have until December 1st, and the applicable sailings will be after December 2nd, all the way through April 2025. Apparently they have some deployment sailings already set for 2025. I haven't looked that far in advance. So you got to book by December 1st, and you got to sail by April of 2025. You got some time. You will get 75% off the second guest. That's with a non-refundable deposit. Or you can take 60% off the second guest with a refundable deposit. So, you know, what the cruise lines do, if you don't know with these deposits, if you pay a higher deposit, then you get a refundable one. Or you can pay a lower deposit, and the cruise line says, well, you can give us less money, but we're going to keep it if you cancel. So that's a non-refundable deposit.
Well, sometimes the deposit amount doesn't change. It's the price of the cruise that changes.
That can change too as well. Yeah. So Christy has a good question. Is there a Texas resident discount? You know, because you do have Galveston there. If you're sailing out of Galveston, it may bring up a Texas resident discount, or because now Royal Caribbean has established, you know, itself with a big terminal there, you may now start to get Texas resident rates even in other states, in other places.
And these state-specific discounts are usually for very selected sailings.
Absolutely.
And it's not every single time you sail.
Yeah, even, you know, like I was talking about, actually, it's not Royal Caribbean, it's Princess. I'm going to talk about Princess very shortly, but they have a kid sail free. They have very specific sailings, or Norwegian. One of them is like, you can't do Thanksgiving, you can't do Christmas, you can't do New Year's, you can't, like there's like 50 cruises that you can't use kid sail free on. So everything that I'm telling you has terms, has terms and conditions.
There is small print.
Oh my God, there's so much small print. It drives me crazy. So Celebrity, you can take 75% off second guest with a non-refundable deposit. You can take 60% off the second guest with a refundable deposit. And you get up to $800 saving per stateroom, and up to $800 onboard credit per stateroom. So you can get 75% off the second guest, plus they're going to add up to another $800. Plus, they're going to add up to $800 of onboard credit. I can already tell you that $800 of onboard credit, that's one of the top suites, probably. You got to book that. If you book an interior, you might get $10. I don't know.
Well, probably more than 10.
You probably get like $25, $50 onboard credit. But if you're thinking, oh, I can get $800 of onboard credit, well, you better be ready to book the iconic suite, something like that. But that's not a bad deal. You know, 75% off second guest, up to $800 saving. So what they're doing is they're gonna give you the 75% off second guest, and then depending on the cabin class that you're booking and the particular sailing that you're booking, because some sailings they will offer more of a discount than others. Some they may not offer any of that extra discount because, you know, say like a holiday week or something, sometimes they don't do that. Plus you get up to $800 onboard credit. That's not a bad deal. Now, I haven't looked at the Celebrity prices, you know, whether they inched the prices up or not. Watching what Royal Caribbean's been doing, they haven't really moved the pricing of the cabins at all, but they have been in the discount in a pretty good way. So So yeah, so that is Celebrity. 75% off second guess, non-refundable. 60% off second guess, refundable. And you can get $800 saving, $800 onboard credit, depending on the stateroom. So if you got any questions at all about Celebrity, please drop them in there. And of course, again, remember, there is fine print. There's all kinds of terms and conditions on here. So don't call Celebrity and say, well, Walter said I get $800 off. No, I said you get up to $800 off. And there's all the little fine print in there. So definitely. A cruise line that I really, really want to try out sometime soon, Azamara. Azamara is another Royal Caribbean line.
Well, not anymore.
Well, not anymore, but they're still in the booking engine. So
Yeah.
Go figure. So Azamara is actually running a really good deal. I haven't seen anything like this on the big cruise lines in a while. A double cabin upgrade offer. This is running through December 9th. So if you've thought about, Azamara and that small ship. So Azamara, they have 700 guests on their ship. They have 4 identical ships and 700 guests. That's it, 700 guests. And I think the crew ratio is almost 1-to-1 on the ship. So they are offering a double cabin upgrade. So you can get a veranda for the price of an interior. That's pretty doggone good. If you look at any cruise ship, the difference between an interior and a balcony, I mean, it's usually at least double to get up to a balcony on most ships. So, yeah. About.
Is that, well,
No? Okay. So, and these are sailings in Italy, Turkey, Greece, Spain, Portugal, Denmark, England, and France, among others. There are some other countries in there. But you can basically get a veranda plus stateroom. So you can get a veranda for the price of an interior, or you can get a veranda plus for the price of an ocean view. So, if you've been wondering about Azamara and what the small ship, luxury line is like, it's not a bad deal. It's not a bad time to be looking at it. And they also have an early booking bonus that you can save 20%. You get free Wi-Fi. You get $300 on board credit, and you get an upgraded premium beverage package. The booking window is through December 31st for that one for 2023, or you need to book by August 31st for 2024. And they've got Fort Lauderdale, Australia, Singapore, Dubai, Ireland, Norway, along with Italy, Turkey, and all the ones that I've just mentioned. So if anybody out there has any interest at all in Azamara, in fact, if any of you have sailed Azamara, I would love to hear it in the comments. I really would like to try them out. They are an absolutely beautiful line. I mean, their ships are kind of no nonsense when you see them, but when you see the inside and the treatment that they do on them and the food and everything going on, wow. I mean, it is definitely a step up. They do have kids on board. Like somebody recently asked, are you adult only? The answer is no, but we don't really have programs for kids. So, the kids got to keep themselves entertained. So you don't really see a whole lot of kids on those ships, but they do look absolutely beautiful. And it certainly would be a different way to cruise. I really want to try out one of these ships just to see what they're all about. Obviously, so then I can tell you guys, right? So help you guys out picking out your new ship and all of that good stuff. And then Princess. So I've been kind of teasing Princess, and I wasn't sure whether we were supposed to say anything or not. If any of you are interested in booking Princess next year, I certainly am. They are offering a $1 deposit. $1 deposit. That's going to start on the 22nd, and it will run through the 30th. But $1 deposit. Of course, there are terms and conditions with that. And I don't have all of the fine print in front of me. But from November 22nd through November 30th, you will be able to book Princess Cruises for $1 deposit. So that's not a bad deal. You can book 4 cruises, $1 deposit. I forgot to put down on here what the window is to sail. There's always going to be, you have to sail between this and this. I don't have that in front of me, although I might be able to pull that up at some point.
That is $1 per person, though, right? Yeah.
I'm going to guess that's $1 per person.
Yeah.
So you're going to have $5, Christy. So, don't talk to me unless you have $5. If you got $5, okay, we're talking. We'll do business. But if you don't have $5, we're not doing business. But yeah, I mean, that's awesome. I mean, to be honest with you, offering it for $1, and I would be ready to put down a deposit. In fact, I was telling Rebecca, like, yeah, let's put down a deposit on that Sky Princess because I really want to go on the Sky Princess. I want the gelato. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Fresh gelato, certified by Italy. It's the real deal on the Sky Princess. That's the only reason why I want to go on. No, that's not the only reason. Which one of a new ship? We have not been on the new ship yet. We've been on Crown, Sapphire, Caribbean, Island. Those are the 4 that we've been on. We haven't been on one of the bigger new ones, so I really want to go on one of the bigger new ones. But that is the $1 deal. They have also extended the set sail with the Love Boat, probably trying to make up for the fact that the show's not doing that well. It got bumped off of TV10 in Australia. Now it's been bumped off CBS here. I feel so bad for those guys. They had such high hopes for that. I really didn't. I mean, come on. You know, the Love Boat was such a classic. And like they could have done kind of a reality thing, but they could have made it a silly reality. I haven't even been able to watch it yet. People that have watched it have not had the best thing to say, but
we don't have network TV.
Yeah, so. We don't. But I love Princess. I mean, gosh, as a brand, love Princess so much. But they've extended the Love Boat sale. What do we got here? You can book now with a $100 deposit, which, like I said, if you wait till November 22nd, it's going to be $1. You get $100 in shoreside credit, Wi-Fi, drinks, and crew appreciation is included, and up to 30% off fares. So it's kind of similar to Royal Caribbean, except they're throwing in the shore. It's actually kind of like Norwegian, really. That shore excursion credit, the drinks, the Wi-Fi, the crew appreciation included. And those are the gratuities. When you hear crew appreciation, that's what they're doing. They're changing the term. You used to always see gratuities included. Now it's crew appreciation. You appreciate them. Because who would refuse crew appreciation?
It is called a lot. It's also called a daily service charge sometimes. I mean, it's got a lot of names.
It does. But now it's called crew appreciation. Because how dare you? How dare you take the money away from the crew? Whereas with gratuities,
do appreciate them.
Yeah, with gratuity, people be like, I don't want to pay gratuity. Oh, it's crew appreciation. Well, I do appreciate the crew. So there you go. But Love Boat sale is extended. So you can get $100 shore excursion credit. You get your drinks, you get your Wi-Fi, you get the crew appreciation, and up to 30% off fares. That is the Love Boat sale. They are also doing 3rd and 4th guests free. And of course, again, that's in one cabin. And both of those sales are scheduled to end on November 21st. So it is the 14th. So a week from today, those sales are scheduled to end. And usually that means 11:59 on whatever day they say. So 11:59 p.m. on the 21st, those will end. They're also doing a great deal up in Alaska. I've talked about this already. Sail 10 days for the price of 7. 10 days for the price of 7. Alaska is so worth it, and 7 days is not enough. You need at least 10 days. These are round trip from Vancouver, and it's the Inside Passage, and it is select sailings on the Crown and Sapphire. 2 ships that we've sailed. In fact, the Sapphire was our Alaska home. Oh, man, what a great ship. What a fun ship. What a great, just a great cruise. So if you've not been to Alaska yet, and I told you all to go this past year because the prices were ridiculous this past year. I've never seen the prices so low in Alaska as this past year. But I have to say, the prices have not changed all that much. I thought they were going to dramatically go up. They have not dramatically gone up for next year. And I think it's because there are still going to be a lot of ships going back up there this coming year. This past year, I think more ships were in Alaska. Rebecca and I were talking about it because the Asian market was closed. So they repositioned some of the ships that normally would have gone over to Asia. They brought them to Alaska. So it was almost like Florida. We had up to 60 ships doing Alaska this past year. So that was one of the reasons why the prices came down. There was a lot of competition. Prices still look like they're quite good. Alaska is booking very well. So inventory will start to run out sooner than later. So if Alaska is on your list for next year, consider at least putting that deposit down soon, so that you can get the cabin you want. For instance, I've got a family right now that I'm working on for spring break. And they just decided to go ahead and book a cruise down here in Florida in spring break. And I was just flabbergasted by how many ships are almost sold out already. It is unbelievable. So cruising is back in a big way for spring break. That is for sure. So, and the same thing with Alaska. With Alaska, you want a balcony. If you can get a balcony, you want to be on a balcony because you want to be able just to wake up and look out at all that nature around you because it's absolutely amazing. And do not wait too long. Otherwise, you're going to lose out on the cabin that you want. So there you go. So $1 deposits coming to Princess. That will be on November 22nd through the 30th. So if you're planning to book on Princess, definitely give me a shout. We can get you all set up so that we know which cabin you're going to get, and then we'll do the booking on the 22nd. But there you go. That's Princess. Any questions so far, guys? Man, you guys have just been kind of sitting there watching me talking. But if you guys got any questions at all, I'll take a little quick reminder here to remind you guys to come join our private Facebook group. Wonderful group. Christy, who you've seen commenting in here, she is one of our moderators. She's doing a fantastic job in there. She remembers everybody's birthday and anniversaries and all that. So please do come join over there at the Facebook group. And of course, you know, book your travel with us if you need to. And like I said at the top of the show, we don't just do cruises. We actually do land tours, and we're planning 2 land tours right now in Ireland and Scotland. Man, I want to go. Like every time we book something, I'm like, I want to go. Why am I booking this? I just want to go. So part of the fun of being a travel agent, I guess, is you just get to live vicariously through other people. So, but there you go. Now, I did a TikTok on this earlier. I'm actually going to put a YouTube video up, I hope tomorrow, but Hurtigruten. They have a really good special going on right now. If you've ever thought about small ship cruising or expedition cruising, this is a really good deal. This is up to 50% off pretty much all of 2023 and 2024. Now, not every single sailing, but a lot of their sailings. And I read off some earlier, but 18 days Antarctic Circle expedition, 11 days Panama Canal and the Colonial Highlights with Machu Picchu. And when I say with Machu Picchu, it's not like you're just going to see it go by. You're going to be walking over to it. Disco Bay in the heart of Greenland. 16 days of that one. 13 days from Lisbon to Hamburg. 11 days Lake Titicaca. Ancient histories and history of South America. 15 days in southern Scandinavia. These are amazing cruises, and these are not sail-bys. You know, you will be getting in the zodiacs. You will be going and landing on land. You will be walking through the forest, on the glaciers, hanging out with 1 million penguins. I mean, I saw this video on their website. Literally, approximately 1 million penguins around the team of people who are standing there. So these are not passive. 20 days in the Northwest Passage. Like going up the Northwest Passage up high in Canada. So absolutely amazing cruises. They are 50% off right now, and they are 50% off only for travel agents this week. So if you want to book Hurtigruten, this is the week to do it, because next Monday, the general public gets access to this sale. But this week, only travel agents do. So if you want to get the best cabin, the best cruises, the best everything, this is the week to do it, because the next week it just opened up to the general public and anybody can go ahead and start booking in on these cruises. So, Maureen, I said that Princess is a great ship to visit Alaska. They are. They're a great cruise line. Any time of year, or what's the best time to go? Well, really any time, honestly. If you want any shot at all of seeing the Northern Lights, I have seen a couple of the captains, because I follow them on LinkedIn, post pictures and video of the Northern Lights like the first couple of cruises. So if you want any chance at all of seeing the Northern Lights, then you have to go in those first couple. We went last week of June?
No.
Oh, last week of May.
The last week of May, first week of June. So what was really nice then is a lot of the animals were having their babies then. So we saw a bunch of baby moose. We saw from a very long distance a grizzly bear with her 2 cubs. So we saw a bunch of babies. Baby
owls, baby eagles. We saw all kinds of babies. Reindeer. A baby reindeer came running down. Caribou came running down. So we went the last week of May, first week of June, and that was brilliant. So think about that. And hey, Maureen, how are you? Good to have you. But the nice thing about going late May into June, so June 21st is the summer solstice. So the days get longer. And we were in Fairbanks. So we did the cruise tour, 7 days on land, 7 days on sea, 7 days at sea. And when we were in Fairbanks, it never got completely dark. The sun went down, but it basically stayed right on the horizon. So the sky was like a twilight for a while. And in fact, one of our excursions ended at like 1 in the morning or 1:30 in the morning. We were coming back from the hot springs.
Seem like it.
No, it didn't even seem like it because it was daylight. It was like 10:30 at night when we were there. It was daylight. You know, you can see my pictures and it looks like the middle of the day. And then we came down to Denali National Park. Then we came down to Copper River. So that was the 7 days. And at Copper River, I was eating salmon that was basically caught that day out in the Copper River. It was absolutely amazing. All of the land part was just amazing. And then we met the ship in Whittier and we did the 7 days on the ship, which was fabulous. And I will say, if you're going to Alaska, you're going to Juneau, look up Harv and Marv for the whale watching. Small boats. I think they take 12 people now.
They have still have the 6 ones. Yeah. And then they have some that are, I think 12, maybe 20. Yeah. So they have a few bigger boats, small, but not anything compared to the cruise line boats.
No, we had 4 of us on our boat when we went out. It was just my dad, his wife, and the 2 of us. And then if you go to Skagway, there's a helicopter company there called Temsco. They do a helicopter flight out to a dog sled camp up in the mountains. And if the clouds are too low, which they were for us, they gave us the option to either get a refund or take us to a glacier. So we decided to go to a glacier because I wanted a helicopter flight, man. That's what I really wanted.
We did get a partial refund because the dog sled camp was going to be more expensive than just the helicopter.
Yeah, because we would have gotten a chance to ride on the dog sled had we gotten there. And be aware, if you go to Skagway, there are dog sled camps right like within driving distance. They're not going to have, and if you get a chance to ride on the sled, it's probably going to be a sled with wheels. So it's not exactly the same as being flown up into the mountains where they have snow and you can actually ride on a sled on snow. So just be aware of that. I'm sure the ones by Skagway are cheaper and you might be like, oh, look, I can go do the dog sled without even getting on a helicopter. Not going to be the same experience.
But
just saying,
very little chance of it getting canceled.
Right. I doubt it's going to get canceled because there won't be enough fog on the road to block you from getting there. I don't think. We actually ran into clouds twice. There, it wasn't cloudy at all where we were, but they said in the mountains the cloud really came down, so the helicopters couldn't make the flight. And then when we were in Ketchikan, the clouds were so low, we were supposed to take a bush plane to an island, and we couldn't do that, like to a lake and an island, and we couldn't do it because the clouds were so low. Some of the bush planes were taking off, but our pilot called it because she said, you're not going to see anything and it's too dangerous to go up when the clouds are that low. So I very much appreciated it. Danielle, you might be convinced to go to Alaska and brave the cold. It's honestly not that cold there.
Not the time cruising season happens.
Yeah, that's why cruising season happened during that time. Now, yes, it will get colder. And the coldest actually for us was when we were in Copper River. We did a white, it wasn't white water rafting, but you know, it was some rough water and it was about 30 degrees that morning. And then we were out on the water. So that was cold. that truly was cold that morning. But when we got to Fairbanks, it was 71. Like when we first got to Alaska, it was 71 degrees. So we were like, okay, this is weird. But the best piece of advice that I can give you for Alaska is to get a 3-in-1 jacket. Rebecca got this 3-in-1 jacket from LL Bean. Absolutely fantastic. So it has an inner liner that was fleece, has an outer liner that is like a windbreaker and a rain jacket in one. So you can wear the 2 pieces independently, or you can put it together. When you put it together, it's the warmest because it's blocking the wind out. That was the only jacket we took with us. We didn't take like winter coats and this coat and that. We just took one jacket with us that we could take apart as needed. And that, I'm telling you, get yourself a 3-in-1 jacket and you are set, because the deal with Alaska is layers. It could be cooler in the morning, but if the sun's out, you're going to be really hot by afternoon. So I really think you should, Danielle. There is nothing like going to Alaska. And if you have the time and the wherewithal to do a cruise tour, you can do 7 days. I think you can do 4 days. You might even be able to do 2 or 3 days. If you can do a cruise tour on land, especially with Princess, that would be amazing. But like I just talked about a little while ago, Royal Caribbean is offering up to $500 off flights to Alaska. So if you book a cruise with Royal Caribbean, you can get up to $500 off business class, and you can get up to $200 off economy class. So that helps with your flights getting up there, and that is, you know, a major hurdle for some people to getting up to Alaska because it is expensive. It's a long flight. What stunned me, so we flew from Atlanta to Seattle, and then we flew from Seattle to Fairbanks, and the two flights were about the same length. And I was like, oh my God, how big is this state? I honestly didn't realize just how big of a state Alaska was. But that blew my mind when the two flights were about the same length, going all the way from Atlanta, Seattle, and then Seattle up to Fairbanks.
Yeah. Texas thinks it's big, but
yeah, they sell shirts with Texas inside Alaska. Very proud of the fact that Alaska is bigger than Texas up there, and they should be, you know, because Texas rubbed it in our face all the time. So, but yeah, Danielle, you really should, and anybody really should. Celebrities got some good deals going on up there as well, and that's part of that 75% off the second guest, up to $800 saving per stateroom, up to $800 onboard credit per stateroom. That's all part of Alaska as well. So if you want to take Celebrity to Alaska. And Celebrity has cruise tours as well. I believe Royal Caribbean now has cruise tours. So if you have the wherewithal, I just know that Holland America and Princess have their own hotels. And that's why I always talk about them so much. I think the others probably contract hotels. And in fact, Princess even has their own motor coaches. They have their, I mean, they really do it up well. And Holland America, it's really funny. Like in Denali, I don't know if anything's changed, but there are two lodges in Denali. Holland America, Princess. Those are the only two, and well, literally right there.
I know there's a lodge that Royal Caribbean and Celebrity use that isn't one of those two, but it may be newer than when we were there.
Yeah. When we were there, literally there was one street light, and they said they only turn it on during the season when the hotel lodges are running. And so there were the two lodges on one side of the street, and on the other side of the street there was a coffee shop and a couple of other things. And that was it. That was Denali. That was all of Denali. And I still remember that coffee shop. It was actually a pretty good coffee shop. We would just walk across the highway, go get coffee up there. But
highway?
Yeah, the highway. It's hard to describe Alaska. You really don't appreciate, because you're on a big cruise ship, right? And you pull up to the glacier and you're looking up at the glacier and you're like, oh, I'm not used to looking up at anything when I'm on a big cruise ship. I'm used to looking down when we come to land. But when you get to a glacier and you're actually looking up at it, you're like, wow, this is impressive. You know, that it's really that big.
And the thing is, as many gorgeous pictures as you took of Alaska, being there, it was 800 times more gorgeous.
Yeah. Pictures do not do Alaska justice. I took 3,300 photos. Doesn't do it justice. I mean, I look at some of them, some back here, and it's like, it makes me remember what it's like, but there's no way I can convey to you what it was really like to stand there and look at the Mendenhall Glacier or be on that train. I mean, so we took a train from Fairbanks down to Denali, and all of the cruise lines have their own cars. You have a double-decker car, so you can sit up in the dome, you can look out, but they also allow you to stand outside between the cars. And that's where I was taking a lot of photographs standing out there. And I felt like a National Geographic photographer. I was like, this is amazing. And then the Harv and Marv, I mentioned them in Juneau. The gentleman who was our captain was teaching me how to take pictures. And he was teaching me, like he was lining me up with, okay, here's what the whale is going to do, get ready. And the whale has a certain pattern. And you always know when the tail is coming up because they keep going through the Andrew, did they take? I don't know if any of the moose took pictures of me, but you know, we did get freaked out. She talked about the moose. We were on a nature hike in Denali and we were walking up a dry riverbed, and all of a sudden the guide said, stop. And here come the moose and the baby, and mom just stood there, stared us down while the baby kind of walked across, and then mom kind of went along. And that's when you appreciate how big a moose really is.
They are huge.
Oh my God. When there's a moose, say 30 yards ahead of you, they're big. They basically block your field of view. They're a big animal, but the baby's so cute. Oh my God. The baby's so friggin' adorable. And then my little snow owl, I got a beautiful shot of a snow owl back here that, oh my God, it's just so great. So Alaska is just one of those things. Oh, and then the ride if you go to Denali National Park and you take the bus all the way into Denali National Park, it's like the cliffs of insanity, you know, in Princess Bride. When the bus goes around all these little turns and you look down, there's nothing there. There's like no road. There's no nothing. It's just 200 feet straight down. And you're like, how are we still on the road? So yeah, it's kind of a death-defying ride when you go out there in Denali. So yeah, it is absolutely crazy. So yeah. So Danielle, I hope you do consider going up to Alaska because it is amazing. And you know, then you talk about Antarctica and some of these other, and Galapagos and some things like that, and you're like, whoa, that's the next step. So I really hope, I'm actually I have a phone call set up with Hurtigruten on Wednesday, so I'm really looking forward to that and learning more about them and the expedition cruises. Again, if you just joined in, we are talking about Black Friday sales. We're talking about cruise sales primarily, but we're also taking your questions. So if you have any questions at all, I am Walter. My wife, Rebecca, is sitting right off camera over here. She is my partner in crime, and we are now travel agents. So we are always happy to help you out. And I got really excited about this one, Hurtigruten. I'd never heard of, I'll be honest, I never heard of Hurtigruten until we started this company.
Really?
Yeah, I had just really never paid attention to them. I knew about National Geographic.
Well, I had heard of Hurtigruten. I just didn't really know anything about them. I just knew the name. Yeah.
And the thing about them, they have electric hybrid ships. So some of these ships actually can run on electric while they're in, you know, while they're in the sensitive areas, they can actually run on electric, which is actually quite cool. So they're eco-friendly for the most part as well. So yeah, so you've got 50% off this week, just the travel agents. You cannot go to their website and get up to 50% off this week. Next week you can, but this week only travel agents can book. So if you really want to get the best cruises, the best cabins and all of that, contact your travel agent. Certainly, I hope that'll be us, but contact your travel agent.
And the thing to realize with all of these small ships is you're going to have to book early because there's a very limited supply, and a lot of these lines have very dedicated fans.
They do. And you know what's very interesting is the age demographics getting younger, both on the big cruise lines and especially with these expedition, because there have been a lot of articles out there, you may have seen them, that talk about how the younger generation is not buying stuff. They want experiences. So instead of buying a car or instead of buying some other major things, they would rather take, you know, a 20-day expedition on a Hurtigruten and experience things. You know, they bring home pictures or something like that. And so it was very interesting to see that their demographic on Hurtigruten is actually coming down as well. But yeah, I mean, you can get a buy one, get one, you get a 50% off all through 2023 and 2024 through Hurtigruten. They also have a bring a mate, buy one, get one half off on select Galapagos and Alaska cruises. So, you know, we're talking about Alaska. They do Alaska in a completely different way than all of the major cruise lines, because the ship is so small, and you are going to be going on land in places where you won't be doing, you know, it won't be 5,000 people getting off a ship. It's just going to be 20 of you coming in on a Zodiac or something like that. Penguins are my spirit animal, so I really want to get to Antarctica. I'm going to ask them if I can be a stowaway someday, you know, on one of their ships. That's fine. I'll cook. They want me to cook. I'll cook for the crew. You know, I won't cook for the guests because I'll probably screw that up. I'll cook for the crew if they'll let me. But yeah, so Hurtigruten, seriously, if you guys, if you go to our website, go to where'swaltertravel.com, go into featured, and you will see, actually, you'll see two pages in there. One, you'll see the Hurtigruten page with a lot more information about their cruising. Two, we have an Alaska page set up as well. So you can see some of the preferred cruise lines, some of the cruise lines that we recommend, and then who else is all going to Alaska. So we're trying to make our website a little bit more useful, a little bit more educational for you to get some more information. Got a lot of videos on there that I pulled from YouTube. In fact, I have a Disney page on there as well. There's a whole Disney Cruise Line page on there. Got all of their videos collated, so they're in one place for you as well. So that is Hurtigruten. Hurtigruten is a expedition small ship cruise line. Now, Holland America, they have a Black Friday special coming. Today is the 14th, November 17th. Their Black Friday special will start, and that will be up to 40% off all cruise fares. To to the Caribbean, to Panama Canal, and other places. And that's it. Yeah, up to 40% off. And I thought it included the, maybe this one doesn't. I thought this one included oh, it does. It does. It takes me a while to read sometimes. I'll get there. But up to 40% off cruises, and the crew appreciation is included. So the gratuities are in there. So Holland America line, up to 40% off all cruise fares and prepaid gratuities. That will be November 17th through December 1st. That's your booking window. So you got a couple of days coming up. So if you're thinking about Holland America, we have, I think they just announced it today or yesterday, because I have not seen it before. And they have a really good have it all package, which is shore excursion, drink package, specialty dining, Wi-Fi. Now, when they say free shore excursion, understand they're not really saying free shore excursion. Norwegian has this too. When you actually go in and look at it, it is a certain amount of money off for the first person. So I don't know exactly what it is on Holland America, but when you see free shore excursion, don't expect that you're going to get, oh, we're going to take the helicopter to the dog sled. No, you're not. You're not getting that for free.
You can. You're just going to pay for
a
good chunk of it.
Yeah. So usually, like in Norwegian case, it's $50 off for the first person in the cabin. Not even the second person. The second person gets nothing. So, and then you pay anything above that. And they do have excursions that are, $25, $35, $50. Usually like walking tours or maybe a motor coach tour, something like that. They are
beach visits sometimes.
Yeah, beach visit. So they do have them. But when you see free shore excursion, like I said, Norwegian, some of these others, not really a free shore excursion. It's a certain amount of money off, and they have excursions that are that much. So it's free, but only for the first person in the cabin. So Holland America, starting November 17th, you will get up to 40% off the cruises, and you will get prepaid gratuities. So, and they are saying Caribbean islands, world famous Panama Canal, gaze upon Alaska's breathtaking glaciers or the majestic fjords of Northern Europe. So it sounds like it's a wide variety of cruises all over the world. If you have not been on Holland America, their ships are stunning. And they've gone in, like we did the New Amsterdam literally when she first came out, but she went in and got, I don't know what they call it, revolutionized, whatever they want to call it. She's got the new music venue. So a lot of their ships now have 3 distinct music venues. In fact, some of them have 4. But you got B.B. King's Blues Club. You've got the Rolling Stone nightclub, which is a partnership with Rolling Stone magazine. You've got a Billboard dance club or music hall. So that's in conjunction with Billboard magazine. And then you got Lincoln Center. So those are 4 distinct music venues. A lot of the ships now have at least 2 or 3 of them. But like I noticed, the Rotterdam had the 4. I think actually New Amsterdam may have had the 4 on it as well. But New Amsterdam's a beautiful ship. Just lovely. If you look at their pools, just the pools in the public area, they're somewhat reminiscent of the Haven on Norwegian, but they don't have a Haven. This is just the public pools. So absolutely beautiful ship. Obviously, you're going to have fewer children. Holland America does not attract a lot of children. Princess does not attract a lot of children either, although Princess supposedly has an outstanding children's club. That's what we've heard from friends and folks who have cruised on Princess. So if you're going out there with kids, you could potentially look at Princess as well. So that is Holland America line. 40% off coming November 17th through December 1st. Definitely give us a call. We'll get you. Now Norwegian, my favorite, because they just keep changing things that mean the same thing. That just to confuse us all. Right now they are doing second guest free plus the free at sea. Your booking window goes through November 27th. So you got to book by November 27th. They've been extending this for a while. So will they extend it into December? Maybe. But up until November 27th, second guest free or 50% off both guests, which is what it was. You can get, now understand the free at sea is not free. You still have to pay the service charges on the free at sea. So if you opt not to take the drink package and just pay a la carte, then you don't have to pay it. But your free unlimited open bar is generally for a 7-night cruise. You might be looking at about $150, $180 in the service fees. So the drink package is free, but you got to pay a service fee, and every adult in the cabin has to get it. So if only one adult wants it, you can say, well, hey, it's just free. We'll go ahead and get it. Well, each of you is going to have to pay 150 to 180 in the service charges. So it could end up costing you like $360 just to get the free drink. You might be better off.
Which is not
cheap.
Yeah, that's relative.
I mean, it's really cheap. That's cheaper than any drink package you're going to get, to be honest with you, for one person, probably. And then the free specialty dining, that has a very minimal service charge. It looks like it's $10 per meal. Like you can get, I think, up to 3 meals depending on your cabin level and the length of the cruise. And it looks like it's about $10 per meal is service charge. That's nothing, honestly. And then that free excursion. So this is the one. You get $50 credit towards each shore excursion, but only for the first person. So it's not
and if you
free.
Have a shore excursion that doesn't cost, that is less than $50, it's not like you can put the remainder towards the second person.
No, it's like every shore excursion you get up to 50, and if you don't use the 50, well, you don't use it. Then you get the free Wi-Fi, which no service charge on that. Free third and fourth guests. They must be inside your cabin. They cannot be in another cabin. And then they are running a free airfare special as well. You pay for one guest and get the round trips for two. I was a little confused reading exactly what that was, but they're kind of calling it buy one get one free, but it sounds like it's not quite that math. But regardless, they are offering some good free airfare thing. Now, the thing about the airfare with the airline and why we're always with the cruise line, you don't have any say in your cruises, in your flights.
Well, you do. You just have to pay for it.
Right. And so I actually have somebody who's booked on a Norwegian, and he called me about it and said, so what do you think? Should I have you push to get that? I said, I'd be more than happy to, but just understand you get no say in the matter. The cruise line will book the flight. And what it says in the fine print is they will do everything they can to do it as one stop or less. So that's an out. And I explained to him that there's nothing to stop the cruise line if he lives in Ohio from flying you to New York, Atlanta, and then Orlando. There's nothing to stop, because that's the cheapest way to get him here. Whereas if he just books it himself, he can probably go from Ohio to Orlando or Ohio, Atlanta, Orlando. So you have no say in the matter. And if you say, okay, you're going to book my flight, whatever they come up with, that's your flight. And then if you want to change it, they're going to make you pay a deviation fee. Now, we can try as travel agents to say, look, you gave them a crappy flight. This isn't fair to charge them a deviation fee. Might work, probably won't. But so that is the only downside to allowing the cruise line to book your airfare, is you don't have control over it. But it can save you money, like in the case of Norwegian, or excuse me, in case of Royal Caribbean offering up to $500 off to fly to Alaska, to fly to Europe. So there's a trade-off. If you're okay with, hey, whatever the cruise line's going to give me, I'm good. I'm going to go. So, hey, Cruising Karen, on Carnival, you choose your flights. Really?
Well, on Princess, they actually have 2 levels. One where you can make choices.
That's right.
And then one where you can't.
That
and
is right.
They're priced differently.
That is very good. Well, that's good of Carnival to let you choose your flight. So yay. Thank you for that. It's so hard to keep up with everybody and what everybody's doing. But yeah, I actually forgot about the Princess thing. And that is actually a nice thing for somebody like Princess to do, to say, hey, you know what? We know you do want to have some control over the flight, so we'll do it. Do 2 different levels. Just like you see everybody doing cruise only fare. And then they have the cruise with everything else included. So they'll say, hey, everything's included. And then you see the fare and it's like, well, no, not really included. We'll add all this other stuff on.
Yeah, but with the Princess, you can get the flights where they're going to just do whatever they want to. And that's obviously much cheaper.
It's much cheaper.
But you can, depending on where you live, sometimes it is cheaper to go through the cruise line.
Yeah.
But if you live near a major hub of any sort, chances are good you can do better on your own.
Probably. Like if you live in the Atlanta area, you can probably do better on your own, or just have the travel agent book it for you. But it's always good to compare. I mean, it certainly doesn't hurt to ask the cruise line, hey, how much is it? And, how does this typically work? Certainly doesn't hurt to ask them. And that's certainly something I would ask. If you want me to go ahead and book you that way, we can certainly go ahead and book you that way. And that would be the big question that I would call in and ask the agent is, well, how are you going to arrange the flight from wherever they live? What's the typical flight pattern? Because there will be a typical flight pattern from most places. Like they know, okay, this is how we typically book the flight. So, and then you would just hope. Cruising Karen just said it is probably the same way at Carnival. I mean, it would not surprise me that all the cruise lines would probably do something like this. It's like, hey, you want more choice? You're going to pay for it. I love that with the cruise line. So you booked with NCL. Gotcha. And you have no idea. That's the thing. You may not know for a while. I mean, you're not going to know until you get closer because cruise lines obviously want to pay the least amount they can you there. So they end up making a little bit on it. I mean, they all have a budget. They know what they want to spend for the flight. And of course, they have deals and contracts with the various airlines.
And one of the advantages, quite often, you don't have to pay for that flight till final payment on your cruise.
Well, that is true. So you don't have to book the flight early because the cruise line is going to go ahead and get that. And that may be something too. Do they wait until final payment to actually go ahead and do that?
I don't know what they do behind the scenes,
Yeah.
but I do know that quite often you do not have to actually pay for your flight.
Yeah.
Until your final payment for the cruise.
Yeah. Danielle, that's an interesting thing. Carnival airfares were high, but they're all high. My client was about $450 per person. Danielle, where were they flying from? And where were they flying to? I'd be kind of curious what that was. I mean, we lived in Atlanta for so many years, so we're just so used to having that big old airport right there that we could almost fly anywhere in the world nonstop. Almost, pretty much.
Not Alaska, but.
Not Alaska. We didn't have the right jet, but. And I mean, Orlando's nice. It's a nice airport. It's so funny because all airports to me are cute after living in Atlanta. Atlanta's such a massive airport. I know a lot of people don't like it because it's so big. And they're like, oh my God, it's so confusing. I love Atlanta. I land in Atlanta. I'm like, I'm home. I know this place and I know where all the restaurants are because I'm telling you, you can eat really good in Atlanta if you know which terminal to go to. I'm telling you. Ohio to Orlando. 450. That is a little high. Yeah, that seems higher than normal.
Flights are high in general.
But flights are high right now. Yeah.
But it certainly never hurts to compare what the cruise line is offering to what you can get on your own.
Yeah.
You just need to know beforehand what you could do by yourself.
Absolutely. And knowledge is power. And so that's why, like, anytime we do a quote, I make sure that I try to present everything that's possible. It's like, okay, here's what you got. We can add this, we can add that, we can add this other thing. So here's all the fees right up there before you start asking all the questions, and the flight one of them. So the flights are added and you can budget it right in. And you just make one payment instead of two, which is kind of nice, obviously. But yeah, the flights are going to be weird for a while. I mean, it's probably going to take like another year or two before everything kind of gets back up in the sky for sure. And maybe another year or two before things really get back to normal on the ships. I mean, Carnival has been having, staffing. I think Carnival has had the most pronounced staffing issues, but everybody's having staffing issues out there. And we just saw Andrew, who's been popping up on here, posted, we just saw that Royal Caribbean is running a test on the Symphony of the Seas, which is a ship we're about to go on in 33 days, making some big changes to the way they're doing the main dining room. And then Rebecca noticed that all the menus went offline for our cruise. So we have no menus right now. So it looks like not just the main dining room, they're going to make changes to the whole ship.
Because when you're booked on Royal Caribbean and Celebrity both, you can go on their app and start looking at the menus. They may not be 100% accurate till 3-4 weeks before your cruise, but you can get some idea of what the various restaurant menus are, including the main dining room.
Right. Gotcha. Wow. So you had on NGL, you had a client from Canada. It was $300 and it was to buy one, get one free. So it was a good savings for them. Wow. That is really, really good. Yeah. So, I mean, if you're okay letting the cruise line pick your flights for the most part, absolutely. You can certainly get some good deals. I mean, the cruise line is going to get the best deal, probably. So.
And Andrew, we did actually, before these menu changes are happening, so I don't know what it'll be like now, but we had actually made reservations for the night in the dining room, main dining room, they were going to have the tiger shrimp on your recommendation.
Yeah, on your recommendation. Andrew talked about how good the tiger shrimp was. So we purposely made a reservation in the main dining room. So now we don't know if tiger shrimp will be there or not.
Or if it'll be on the same night or a different night.
Yeah.
We don't know.
Yeah. So, I mean,
but we have
it is
nighttime
what
dining,
it is.
so
yeah, we got nighttime dining.
Show up whenever.
I've just been looking at the tower of onion rings and playmakers, and I'm like, I didn't tell you this yet, but that's where I want to go when we first get on the ship. I just want to go straight to playmakers and get a tower of onion rings.
We have the free key lunch.
I know we do, but and I got my haircut. I'm getting my haircut on the first day of the cruise. So, in another 3 or 4 weeks, my hair will be all poofy and everything. So I actually have a haircut already scheduled for 12 noon when we get on the ship. I like getting my haircut on a ship. It's kind of fun. So you've never booked the flights or the cruise, so some peace of mind. Well, hopefully, I'll be very curious. Please do check back in. I would love to know how that worked out for you. And did you get some good flights? Was there any stress with that at all? I would really love to know. So we talked about Norwegian. I did not talk about cruise first. This is interesting. So they have cruise next on the cruise ship itself, but now we're basically, you can buy credit. And what's interesting about the Norwegian, so you can buy this credit and you can use it for like the next 2 years. You don't even have to book a cruise yet. You can just say, I want a gift certificate, if you will, that I'm going to use towards a cruise. And then you can do it on the ship. Well, now they've done it where we can do it on land, if you will. The travel agents can even book it for you. It's called Cruise First. And what it is, you can pay $150 to get essentially a gift certificate to cruise within the next 3 years. And Norwegian will add another $150. So you pay $150 to get $300 off any 6 or longer day cruise. And you choose to book when you're ready. You've got 3 years to book. So basically, if you get a $150 gift certificate, if you will, Norwegian's going to add another $150 on top of that if your cruise is 6 days or longer. Actually, 6+ days. So it can be 7 days or longer. That's a pretty good deal. And you don't have to book the cruise for, like you might say, well, I know I want to go on Norwegian. I have no idea what I want to do. You got to do this by November 22nd. You've got until November 22nd to take advantage of this special. And there are a limit of 10 certificates per person. So that's $1,150. And you're going to get $3,000 worth of credit if you buy 10 of these things. That's not a bad deal. Or excuse me, it's $1,500. I said $1,150. I can't do math. It's $1,500. So if you buy $1,500 worth of gift certificates, you're going to get $3,000. $3,000 is a cruise, basically.
Can you? Usually, there's a limit on how many of the credits you can use per cruise.
I know. Yeah, I have no idea.
There is on the cruise next, so I'm imagining it's
so probably
similar.
is. But you can buy 10 per person. So even if you can't use them all on one cruise, hey, you can spread them out over multiple cruises. Again, there are terms and conditions. Now Danielle's saying you can only use one at a time. Well, yeah, they probably would do that, right?
I know when the cruise next, we've used 2, but I think you have to do that. You can only do that if you book 6 months, at least 6 months out.
So again, terms, conditions, all kinds of terms.
Small print.
Read
the small print.
60 days, 180 days, 90 days, 3,000 days. I mean, there's so much fine print in this stuff. Have you ever actually looked at your contract that you agree to go on a cruise? I mean, Carnival's is 25 pages or 22 pages.
Most of them are about that.
Yeah. So if you actually read the contract, you probably wouldn't go on the ship.
Oh, I'd still go on.
I mean, it's just so funny how much stuff is in there. Yeah, like Danielle said, it has to be a new booking. Yeah, that I did know. But I'm sure it changes constantly. But that is the cruise first. I mean, it's still a good deal. You pay $150, you get $300. I think it's certainly worth, if you're thinking about a Norwegian cruise anytime over the next 3 years, wouldn't be a bad. You get at least one. If you know you're going to take one cruise, maybe get 2 or 3 if you're going to take 2 or 3 cruises. They have beautiful ships. They've got the Prima is out there now. The Viva is coming out. They've got 4 more behind the Viva. They're talking about ordering 6 more, but they won't say what. We don't know if it'll be 6 more Prima ships or 6 more something else. But I mean, you know, if you have any desire to take a Norwegian cruise, and boy, I sure do, man, with those ships that they have coming out, you might want to consider doing that 150 cruise first. Now, Virgin is an interesting one because all of their specials are more or less ending tomorrow. So it will be interesting to see if, oh yeah, you're right. Hey, stocking stuffer, there you go. Your next certificate or your cruise first certificate. Merry Christmas. There's $300 towards a cruise. That's not bad. I would take that, right? I would take that. And you've got until November 2nd to buy it. So you can get it and get your Christmas shopping done early. Buy 10 of them and, you know, 10 friends. Here you go. Merry Christmas. Take a cruise. That would be a lot of fun. But yeah, so Virgin's kind of an outlier at the moment as we speak today because a lot of their promotions end tomorrow. So Black Friday is probably going to start on the 16th, whatever their deals are. Their current promotions that are still going to be good. They've got early discounts. If you book 180 days plus out, you will get 10% off your cruise fare. And then between 179 and 121 days, it'll be 5% off. And then this is kind of a funny one. If you pay in full 180 days out, you get 10% off. Why would you pay in full if you're going to get 10% off anyway? It didn't say another 10%. So I don't know what is better. Again, fine print.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because if you book 180 days out on Virgin Voyages, you get 10% off your cruise fare. But if you pay in full 180 days out, you get 10% off cruise fare. So I'm not sure. There must be an advantage to paying in full.
It's an additional 10%.
It didn't say that.
I know, but
maybe. I don't know. So much small
get
print.
the power reading glasses.
So much small print. Oh my God! And I can barely see anything anymore. Disney doesn't have any Black Friday specials at the moment. Maybe something's coming. Right now, what they're still running there. If you got Disney Plus, you can get savings on select sailing. They have up to 35% off on select cruises, both holiday and after the holidays. If you live in Southern California, you can save on cruises out of San Diego. Again, this is Disney. If you're a Canadian, you can save up to 35% on select sailings. That may have passed already, but it was still on the website. I did not look at the dates. What else? Disney Plus subscribers, you can get up to 20% on resort rooms this holiday season. So this is now Walt Disney World. At Walt Disney World, you can save up to $400 on a 4-night, 4-day room and ticket package at select resort hotels, and that's for the holidays. So if you haven't made plans yet for the holidays, you could potentially come down here. They have an early booking offer for their 2024 expedition cruises. Now, if you don't know, Disney does Adventured by Disney, which is expedition. They're sort of kind of like National Geographic expeditions. Some of them, they're very active, and then others are more touristy types of things. And they use Ponant ships. They use the National Geographic ship. This is not Disney Cruise Line. This is Adventured by Disney, much smaller groups. So they're doing an early booking
They
offer.
also do land tours.
Yeah, land. Well,
and river cruises.
They predominantly do land tours, but then they also have water ones. You can save up to 15% on Disneyland Resort this holiday season out in California. And you can save up to 25% for 5 nights or more at Aulani in Hawaii.
That looks beautiful.
So I say that's where we're going. Let's all go. Come on, people, call me and we will get a big old group. Maybe we can charter a plane, and it's up to 25% off for 5 nights or more in Aulani. We can all learn to.
And I do know with all of the Disney Plus deals, they basically verify it by using the email that's associated with the account.
Yes.
And that email holder has to be one of the people sailing.
Yeah. And actually Disney Plus is making everybody update. They're like unifying all the passwords now. So we'll have one password for like all the Disney stuff. So there's a bunch of Disney stuff going on. So no actual Black Friday. I don't know that they really participate in the Black Friday thing all that much, but there's a couple of good deals going on at Disney if you'd like to go on a Disney cruise, or come on down here, visit a Disney resort, or go to Hawaii. You know, who doesn't want to go to Hawaii? I want to go to Hawaii. Maybe we can go see if Stitch is down there. I'm sure he is.
They do have Stitch will come and
Yay.
go to various breakfasts and pool parties.
And then we can sing Hawaiian Roller Coaster Ride actually in Hawaii, which is like one of my favorite. That is the one song that if that comes on the radio, I'm going to turn, or Pandora, I'm going to turn it up pretty much as loud as it'll go because I love that song. That's the one song that if I'm having like the worst day in the world, I will instantly be having a better day if that song comes on because I just love that song so much. Hawaiian Roller Coaster Ride from Lilo and Stitch. If you haven't seen it yet, just listen to the song. It's 20 years old now. I just saw something where they did a reunion with some of the kids that are in that choir. It's a real kids choir singing. So totally awesome. Yes, I'm a geek on Disney. I have not talked about MSC Cruises yet. They do not have a specific Black Friday going on just yet, but they do have a couple of specials going on. They have a free balcony upgrade plus up to $500 onboard credit. So you can get free balcony upgrades and up to $500 onboard credit. They didn't really give a whole lot. There's really tiny print. So I didn't feel like reading the really tiny print, but that's what it is. So if you're interested in MSC, just reach out to me. And they're still running the and I couldn't find an end date on that, so that must be open-ended for the time being. And then they are running 80% off the solo supplement. So if you are a solo cruiser and you don't know, you do have to pay a supplement for the second person who would typically be in that cabin. They're not taking it all away, but they're taking 80% of it away. So you just have to pay 20%. You got to pay a little bit for that second person. So if you want to book on MSC, it has to be a new sailing. We have to book it by May 21st. So we've got all kinds of time. And the cruise has to depart by May 31st. So you've got until now to May 31st to book it, but then the ship has to leave by May 31st. So from now until, if you're a solo traveler and you want to go on MSC, you can do it almost for the price of one. So I would definitely recommend it. You know, why not? Give it a try. Cunard. Wow. I'm on my last one. I'm down to Cunard. If anybody wants to go on a Cunard, starting November 17th. Looks like they're starting a lot of their stuff. Holland America is starting on 17th. Cunard starting on 17th. They will have fares from $8.99. Go on a Cunard ship. Up to $600 onboard credit per stateroom. Again, keep in mind that's going to be the suites. More than likely, going to get the $600. And a 50% reduced deposit, which would be kind of cool. So that's Cunard. And then they have this thing called Sailing Soon Savings, which I guess is kind of a last minute sailing. I guess that's what they call it. You can get balconies from $749. So for like a last minute sailing on Cunard. And this is primarily, I think, the transatlantic, which I really want to do. I've talked about it on here before. I really want to do a TA from Florida over to Europe, do a river cruise, and then take Cunard, come back to New York. I just think that would just be so fabulous not to have a jet anywhere in that except for New York coming down to Florida. But that's what I really, really want to do because we have not done any river cruises yet. We really got to do some river cruises. And that's it. And if you do the Sailing Soon Savings, you have to pay in full. There's no deposit. Just pay in full right up front for the cruise. But that is everybody. If you tuned in late and you want to know about a Black Friday special or anything, just quickly drop it in the comments. I will go back over it, or you can go back and watch the replay. I pretty much went through every cruise line, more or less. I mean, not every one, but a lot of the big ones. Like I did not do Oceania, and I didn't do some of the smaller ones. I didn't do P&O because we haven't been on P&O yet. Anybody watching been on P&O? I really want to go on P&O. I would love to go see the Iona. Of course, the Iona is the Mardi Gras, which I think haven't seen enough of the Sun Princess yet. But man, she really looks like she's built on that same shell because she's got that center section with all the glass, which is what both the Iona and the Carnival Mardi Gras has. So I'm going to be very curious to see if she's actually built on that same shell. But that is it. And, the big news is the Carnival Venezia bookings are now open, which is the very first Costa by Carnival. She's going to be Carnival owned and operated, but she's still going to be flying the Costa livery. And supposedly they've left a lot of the ship alone inside. You're not going to see all the Carnival. I don't even think you're not going to see like the Red Frog Tiki Bar. I don't think you're going to see a Guy's Burger. You're not going to see all of that normal Carnival stuff. You're going to be getting onto a Costa ship. I very much want to get on that ship. It's going to be sailing out of New York 2023. So that is the Black Friday specials. I went through a lot of stuff tonight, and we've been going for, oh, wow, geez, an hour and 16 minutes. So there you go, folks. That is what we know of Black Friday. So we're still waiting on Virgin and a few others. Yeah, it is expensive to go on it. So yeah, you know what? I would not be surprised, Andrew, if especially in the buffet that they have potato latkes. I really hope they do. You know,
yummy.
Yeah, my grandmother was a Russian Orthodox Jew on my dad's side. So I'm 3/4 Italian and I'm a quarter Russian Jew. So I grew up, you know, with both sides going. The holidays were a wonderful time. In fact, we just bought a menorah recently to honor my grandmother. I love doing stuff like that. I love honoring where we've come from. So yeah, that would be kind of cool. I would not be surprised if they have potato latkes at least up in the buffet, and maybe like in the main dining room for lunch. They might do it. Might even do it for dinner. You never know. But that would be kind of cool. That would be kind of cool. So I think since I've gone through everything and doesn't look like you guys have any questions right now, we're going to go ahead and wrap this up for the night. But we will be back on Saturday. Oh, the menorah? It's not out. We just brought all the decorations out, so the menorah is not out at the moment. But since it's going to be Hanukkah while we're on the ship, I should probably bring it with me.
Just can't bring the candles.
That's true. Well, I guess I can, but I can't light them.
No,
they
would probably take the candles.
Yeah. So, but anyway, so we're going to go ahead and wrap this up. Thank you all for joining us tonight. I hope that was useful for you all. And of course, you know, if there's anything we can do for you for your cruise bookings or any kind of vacation, certainly reach out and let us know. We'll be back next Saturday, 10:30 a.m. on TikTok. And we're setting up. I'm starting to set up some YouTube Live. We're going to be having one of the representatives from Royal Caribbean is coming on a YouTube Live. Representative from Hurtigruten is coming on a YouTube Live. I'm talking to Virgin Voyages tomorrow. So it's not just going to be me talking pretty soon. You're going to be able to interact with some of the folks from the cruise lines very shortly, starting to get them involved with the YouTube Live so we can all talk, we can learn. So very, very excited about that. And I'll be announcing that. They may not necessarily happen on a Monday night, you know, depending on their schedules. We might move the YouTube Lives around. And of course, I'm going to attempt to go live from the Symphony when we get on the Symphony. So that's it for tonight, folks. That's Monday night, Black Friday rundown. If you missed anything, certainly you can see it all on the replay. But Saturday morning, join us over on our TikTok channel. And then next Monday night, we will be here. And as we develop those live events with all the various cruise people, we will let you know. So thank you so much. And, you know, my goodness, thank you so much to all of you who have put your faith in us to book your vacation. Like I said, we've been at this really just 3 weeks so far, and we've got over 20 bookings up on the board. And we're working on the Ireland and Scotland thing. Oh, my God, it's just so cool. So thank you all so much for believing in us and supporting us. And, yeah, that's it. That's all I can say. Just thank you. From Rebecca and I, we just really appreciate all of your support. So you guys have a fabulous evening. We'll see you Saturday morning, and then we'll see you back here Monday night. Wherever you guys are, have a fabulous evening.